Vinyl community, I'm back to do a recent vinyl finds video, and it's gonna be a long one this time because I'm gonna include some sound samples for you of some records that is pretty unusual and I want to bring forward to the audience, so to speak. So playing in the background is Spiritual Vegas Ad Astra 2000, a passion project of Mike Amott, who's the lead guitarist and founder of Arch Enemy. And his brother is on this one too, Chris Amott. Really good. Stoner rock, heavy rock, and a local band. Mike and Chris Amott is from my town. Really cool. I've listened to that since 2000 when it came out. Blasted it through my car back in the day. But now to some records, and one that I want to show you. So this is going to include a sound sample, and this is one you all should get if you like progressive and psychedelic music. The Damnation of Adam Blessing from 1969. Awesome a boundary of masterpiece, at least, that you can get for a pretty decent price. Like $25, you get a much better copy than I have. This is a trade I did with a guy. Yeah, really, really wonderful. And here's a sound sample for you.
If the moonstone echoes softly, yeah, feed your mind. Yeah, feed your mind.
Okay, so hope you enjoyed that. Now here's a reissue that I would not have bought if I did the research right, and maybe some of you can shine some light on this. This is the Flower Traveling Band with Anywhere, 1970. Phoenix Records reissue from 2017. A Record Store Day release with a CD. That's useless. I won't use that. And a sheet. And a baby blue vinyl. Japanese rock from 70 with some covers of King Crimson, Black Sabbath, and Animals, actually, House of the Rising Sun. I thought that all reissues that was done on Record Store Day was legit, but this is an unofficial reissue. So I guess the band won't see a dime of that if they are alive today. Classic in the Jap rock catalog. Heavy blues rock. Okay, so the next sound sample I'm gonna include here is a masterful record. One of the best records I've ever heard, actually. It's really grown on me, and it's as rare as hen's teeth. I'm talking about Trubrot with the record Lifun. Life, I think that's in English. Gatefold with this kind of gimmick cover. It's the backside there, and a psychedelic kind of inner sleeve, also a gimmick one. And here's the label for you, for all that's interested in that. Lifun is an Icelandic progressive group. This is the third record from 1971 and the last one that they did. This is a progressive opera of sorts. It's about life and death. It starts off kind of acoustic and then just builds and builds, and it's so damn good. One of the best progressive rock records I've ever heard in my life. It's so good. Yeah, just check this sound clip out and see for yourselves. Yeah, I really hope you dug that. This is a masterpiece of a record, and it's been reissued. As I said, it's a very rare record. I got this in a trade with an American guy traded European pressings with me from Sweden for 2 Icelandic records. Now try to say that 10 times in a row. Lifun by Trubrot. And another really good record, not the masterpiece that folks are saying, but a fantastic record nonetheless. Museo Rodenbach, Italian prog. This is the Sony reissue that they did, and if you remember, I showed a Banco record maybe 6 months ago or something like that, a year ago, with the piggy bank kind of gimmick cover. That was also a Sony reissue, so I think that Sony did a bunch of Italian prog reissues. This sounds fantastic. Yeah, that, and it's really good. Now this was issued in 1,000 copies, I believe. I have number 596, but they put the number on the shrink wrap, and being a gatefold and all, I just threw that away. Just insane. Why do they put it on the shrink wrap if it's a gatefold? You can appreciate the record. So I threw it away, logged I logged the number. Now I'm going to show you 2 records, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a sound sample on this one, because I think that you need to hear it to understand it a little bit more. But this is Savage Rose, a psychedelic pop group from Denmark in 1968. Really good if you like psych pop, and the same year they released their second one, In the Plane, also 1968. They released a bunch of records in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and 00. So yeah, a lot of records by these guys. This is psychedelic. In the 70s they did progressive and symphonic progressive rock. Then they did more pop-oriented stuff and commercial rock. So there's something for everyone. But the first 2 ones are the ones to get, in my opinion. There's also one called like The Triumph of the Will or something like that in the 70s that I think is their big record, their masterpiece. Really good. These are also good. And here's a sound sample from one of these. So yeah, a short one there, but hopefully you dug Savage Rose from Denmark. Now to England, I believe, 1968, Family Music in a Doll's House. And this is Roger Chapman and Rick Gretsch project that they did, released a bunch of records. I have a compilation of Family for this, but I wanted the first record. It's really good. And on Reprise Records. And if anyone knows, do you pronounce it Reprise Records or Reprise Records? Please shine some light on that. I would really like to know, because I don't want to be making a fool out of myself. I've been doing that for like 8 years now on YouTube, so why continue? I don't know. So yeah, Family Music in a Doll's House, really good. And the next one and the last music example I will give you, and this is, man, I'm so glad that I finally have this in my collection. Would never see the day that I got this, but this is original Icelandic press of Svanfríður's What's Hidden There. One of the best progressive rock records from Scandinavia, definitely, and also a super rare record to find. You have to pay big bucks for this. So you can see its structure in the cover. 1972, only record by these Icelandic guys, Svanfríður, and they recorded it in London, and no one wanted to put it out, so they made up their own label called Swan. And there's the label there. Pretty awesome note down here, says made in a machine. So yeah, Svanfríður. If you're a fan of heavy prog or blues rock prog, this is your cup of tea. And it's very diverse in its sound structure of the songs. So I'm gonna give you an example, but I mean, I could show you 3 more songs that sounds completely different from this record. So here you go. Okay, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. This is definitely one of my top records in my collection now. So happy to get it. And I had to trade it with the guy for like 9 or 10 more commercial records that I have, that I bought dirt cheap back in the day. A bunch of Metallica records, like late 80s reissues of those, and Sex Pistols and some other stuff. Just ordinary music for him, and rare music for Jonas. So he's a happy guy. Okay, so the last one that I'm gonna show you is, it's just insane that this was released at all, in my opinion, and I'm so glad that they did, because it's based on one of my all-time favorite records. It's just that good. I've probably listened to that record 150 times, and it gets better every time I listen to it. And the record I'm talking about, let's do it like this. The record I'm talking about is I Am the Cosmos by Chris Bell. This is one of the best records ever recorded and released. Recorded in the 70s, released first in the 90s, long after his death. He joined the 27 Club. Died 27 years old. I had the Four Men with Beards reissue of that record, but when I heard they were releasing this box set, I didn't hesitate for a second, because if you went online and listened to I Am the Cosmos, you notice that there's a bunch of outtakes from the session online. And I've listened to those, because those outtakes and alternate takes are better than the ones put on the record, in my opinion. But they never saw a vinyl release until now. So what you get, except for the record in its entirety, that sounds better than the Four Men with Beards reissue, is Outtakes Alternative Volume 1. You get a big booklet with information about Chris, photos, information about Big Star, and everything else you want to know about. You also get Looking Forward, the roots of Big Star, featuring Chris Bell. So stuff that he did before Big Star. You also get Outtakes and Alternates Volume 2, with You and Your Sister acoustic version, You and Your Sister country underdub mix, I Am the Cosmos alternate backing track with piano and other stuff. Just fantastic. You get an interview disc from 1975 in London. And if you know Chris Bell, I have never heard his voice in an interview, except his voice on record. Not even in the Big Star documentary, I think we ever hear the voice of Chris Bell. So getting the interview is like getting as close as you can to any material with Chris. And last but not least, Seven States, Rock City, maybe it's pronounced like that. Also, I think a band before he joined Big Star, or maybe after, I don't know. So the complete Chris Bell collection, everything recorded with Chris Bell except the Big Star material you get in this box set. And I mean, I think it's just fantastic that they put it out, because if you have a somewhat obscure artist like Nick Drake, for example, or even Big Star, they are fairly known nowadays. I mean, if you're a little bit more interested in music than just interested in music, you know about those guys, the band or the the guy. But in Chris Bell's case, I mean, I know fanatics of music that have never heard I Am the Cosmos. So to put out an entire box with just material of Chris, it's just mind-blowing how someone can prioritize, put down the money, and hope that it will sell, I mean, to enough people so it goes, I mean, around. Omnivore Records, thank you so much, and thank you, Chris Bell, for the music. When I sat down and listened to the Speed of Sound, the alternative take of Speed of Sound, that was the first thing I dropped the needle when I got the box set. I sat here in front of the speakers, dropped the needle, and it brought me to tears. Literally, it brought me to tears. I cried like a little baby when I sat here in front of the speakers. So emotional. It's I mean, the entire record, but especially that song, talks to me in a way that goes far beyond just music. Super important record for me, and a fascinating and tragic, obviously, artist that died all too young. Chris Bell, For the People. And that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave comments if you have any, and let me know, is it reprise or reprise records? Who knows? Bye bye.